not very important. We've been totally on task the whole time. Okay, so y equals enough. No, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Minus 2.
I'll link it to my homework.
Oh, awesome. I look forward to it. Okay. So this is what form? Vertex form, because it gives us the vertex, crazy thing. So, if I give you vertex form, I want you to tell me direction. Yes. Or I'm not writing it down for my own fun. Direction of opening.
What are you writing there?
Vertex. Axis of symmetry. Domain range. I'm going to give you 2. So this is 1. And then this is the other.
Is this like review?
Pardon?
Is this like review?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Because I said we're going to review first what we've covered and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah. From this, you shouldn't even have to type it into your calculators, right? We should be able to do it without our calculators. So let's see how we can go about it. But checking with your calculators is no problem with that, or even using your calculators isn't a problem as well. But we need to know all the different ways. So, direction of the opening, up or down? Why?
Negative.
Yes. There's a negative a. If a is less than 0, it's down. Okay, what's my vertex at? 3 and 7, because we take the opposite of what's with the x, because that means we move 3 right and 7 up. So it's at 3 and 7. Is it a max or a min? Just an aside. Wind sure picked up. It's max. Axis of symmetry is x equals the x of the vertex. X equals 3. Remember, it's that dotted vertical line that cuts the graph in half, which is going to be where the x of the vertex is. What's my domain unless it's a word problem? XER, because either way, up or down, it makes XER. Now the range, the easiest way to go about the range is to do a little sketch. So I know it's concave down, and I know that the highest value it goes to is what? 7. It's always my y of my vertex. So my range is going to be y such that y is less than or equal to 7 YER. Okay. The second one, up or down? Mitch? Up. Because?
It's a positive.
It is positive. Okay, is it what's the vertex at?
Minus 2, 3.
Minus 2 and 3. Is it a max or a min?
That would be the min.
It's a min because it's up. Raymond, axis of symmetry.
X equals 2. Negative 2.
Yep. And what's my domain?
X doesn't have the reals.
And Aaliyah, you're going to help me with the range. So the range, it is concave up. What's my lowest y value? 3. So what's my range? Yes. Y such that y is greater than or equal to 3 YER. You got it. Okay, the next thing we did was we went from vertex to standard. Vertex to standard, correct? So that's the form where it's like ax squared plus bx plus c, no brackets. We agree? That form only gives us a y-intercept and concave up or down, correct? That's what it gives us quickly. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 equations. You're going to convert from vertex to standard. And what is our first step always? If I have x plus 2 squared, what should I do? Write it twice. Remember, that's our very first step every single time. If we cross that squared off and write it out twice, we won't make oopsies because we're going to FOIL cross. Okay? So this is number 1, y equals negative 3, x minus 4 squared plus 1. And then number 2 is y equals 1/2 x plus 4 squared minus 2. Try those two out. The hardest part of this unit, not alone, the hardest part of this unit, to be honest, is you see and then you know what you have to do, right? That's going to be the hardest part. If I can walk up and be like, hey, remember when you do that, you're like, and then everyone can go fine. But I can't tell you on a test, hey, by the way, you have to foil and spread them out and you're good. Like, I'm not going to tell you that. So we need to practice and see and know what to do. So this one here, whenever it's from vertex to standard, we're trying to get rid of the brackets. So our very first step is to rewrite it. So we're going to get y equals negative 3, x minus 4, then plus 1. Now, I said there was 2 ways you could do this. You could either FOIL the 2 brackets, then put in the negative 3, or you could put the negative 3 in, but you'd have to stop at the first bracket, right? Then FOIL. Remember when you hit an end bracket, it screams what? Stop. It does. Arrête, yes. Oui.
Yes.
Monsieur.
Yeah.
Do both. That's what I call you.
You know, speak off.
You know the speaker of the envelope.
Isn't able speak? You know speak to speak?
We don't speak.
No, I mean no speak to speak. Okay.
Enunciating the speech.
It's enunciating, not enunciating. Oh boy. Okay. X squared minus 4x minus 4x minus 4 times negative minus 4 is positive 16. Shut the mouthy. Fermez la bouche. Okay. Y equals, now, we're going to distribute. So we're going to get negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 48 plus 1. And then we collect like terms. So we get y equals negative 3x squared plus 24x minus 47. Now, didn't I tell you this? Didn't I say that you can check these every single time? What are you doing? Nothing. That's what you're doing. Okay, so y1 we put in the equations, and y2 we put in the other equation, and they should match, correct? So we should walk away from these knowing, yay, we did good, cry, revamp, try again. Those are the 2 options you have, okay? Crying's okay, as long as you can shut it down and then start again. Yeah, I'm not going to, okay. So this one, we're going to write 1/2, and then we get x plus 4 times x plus 4, and the moment I put a fraction, for you guys, I get a little scared. I'm not going to lie, because you often quit. It's like, I'll just wait till she does it. No, not today. So we're going to follow the same rules. We're going to distribute. So we're going to get y equals 1/2, then we do first x times x, which is x squared. Outside, x times 4, 4x. Inside, 4 times x, 4x. Last, 4 times 4, which is 16. And then subtract the 2. Now, I even picked nice ones so that when you put a half in, it works out nicely. Correct? Okay. So we do 1/2 times x squared. That's the only not so nice one. 1/2 x squared. 1/2 times 4 is 2x. 1/2 times 4 is 2x. 1/2 times 16 is 8 minus 2. Then I collect like terms. So I get 1/2 x squared plus 4x plus 6. And you should be able to type it in and they should match. We agree? Everything's fine. So our first step is looking at vertex form and stating all the stuff. Our second step is giving you vertex form and asking you for standard form. What does standard form get me? What do both these get me really quick? The y-intercept and concavity, which still comes from the other one. So this is concave down. This one is concave up. This one has a y-intercept at 0 and negative 47. And it's because the constant is always the y-intercept. Because when you plug zeros in for x's, these ones are going to cancel off. It only works when there is not brackets. So please don't tell me way up here that -2 is your y-intercept. It's not. It's the y of the vertex. Okay? This one here, my y-intercept is at 0 and 6. Okay. Next, I'm going to sketch you a really nice graph. You're going to be super jealous. Haters going to hate. Okay. So, equation of a quadratic. I can't see if he's right quadratic, but anyway.
Choose wisely.
So,
Roblox or Among Us? Choose wisely.
that's my daughter.
What is it?
She said check mark if you play Roblox or Among Us. And then this one says choose wisely. Add a check mark to which you like better, a Pomeranian or pugs.
That's better right than me.
In grade 2.
Dogs.
Vote on pugs?
Among Us.
Yeah,
Among Us.
And among us.
Okay.
Among Us.
Does anyone like Pomeranians?
No.
Oh, there's some gap? Yeah.
Oh, my oldest. You like Pomeranians?
Pugs can't breathe.
My oldest gets one person who likes the dog she likes. Okay, I'll take a picture. She'll appreciate that. Okay, so we need an equation of a quadratic. In order to get an equation of a quadratic, I have to give you 2 pieces of information, right, Demaderos? Yes, I do. The 2 pieces of information, one of them needs to be the vertex and the other one needs to be a what? A coordinate of some sort, not an x-intercept. Okay? So, if I give you this, let's pretend it's actually drawn. I'm not even putting the scale because it's really bad. So this is at 0 and -10. Calling me fat?
What? I said sauce.
No. Someone said I can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Good cover. Good cover. I'll just take it personally. It's fine. I'm bulking up, Deacon. I'm bulking up.
I never said that.
Finding it hard to go through doors with these arms. Okay?
It's just a thing.
She's yolking up.
I couldn't with the no protein powder though, Deacon. What the heck?
That's not on me.
Here. So you can get decimals for A values. They can be fractions. So what did I tell you to do when you get an equation? When you have a graph, what you're going to do, and I don't know why I'm konnichiwa-ing you right now, but what you're going to do, I feel like I'm doing, is you have to remember, pardon?
No.
That is not, it's like, that's how they say hello.
What?
Konnichiwa, how do you guys not know that?
I didn't know what you said.
Oh.
I know.
That's the only thing I know. Yeah, that's about it. I'm brutal. I'm like the
Really?
worst for knowing different people's languages. I just go places and hope they understand English. I'm brutal. Okay. So what do we need to do first? We need to label correctly. And I said this to you guys. I said this numerous times. Point it out. You labeled wrong. Point it out again. Labeled it wrong again. And we're to a point where I think we got labeled wrong again. But anyways, the vertex, when we're in the form y equals a x minus p squared plus q. Okay. Leon, do you remember what letter these are? Yeah. What is it? Is it PQ or XY? Yep. And then this coordinate is XY. So we know that if we label those wrong, it's going to be wrong because you're putting a point in the vertex spot. You're saying that the highest or lowest point is this when it's not. Okay? So we have to remember that. That's a key thing we have to remember or we will get it wrong. And I promise you the answer to you doing that wrong will be there. So we're going to go y, which is -10, equals a x, which is 0, minus a -4, so I actually get +4 squared, plus 9. So I'm going to get -10 equals a times 16 plus 9. And then I'm going to subtract 9. Negative 19 equals 16a. And then this is the point where you don't freak out, because you're going to get your a, you're going to fill it in, you're going to type the question or the equation into your calculator, and you're going to see if it matches, right? It's the best way to do it. So we're going to divide by 16, and our a equals negative 19 over 16. So we get y equals negative 19 over 16, x plus 4 squared plus 9.
I think you're.
When the wind goes, it hums at the very top of that school. I don't know what it does, but it's so loud. Does everyone remember it now? Remember how to do it? Okay. The next one, the last thing we went over so far is we converted from standard to vertex. And that's where it's called completing the square. And we call it completing the square because we complete the factoring so that we get a perfect trinomial square. Remember when we take the b and we divide it by 2 squared, we're getting a perfect trinomial square. So it's called completing the square. So we find a value to complete the square. So we're going to be converting, I don't know why my talking is so hard today, converting from standard to vertex. I don't know what it just did there. Vertex form. Number 1. Y equals x squared plus 4x plus 3. I'm giving you nice ones right now. In the coming up days, I'll start giving you ones where you get fractions. Y equals 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. So remember, your first step is to GCF out of the first two terms, right? Then square bracket, round bracket. Write your first two terms, plus a blank, close the bracket, minus a blank, close the square bracket, add the last number. Remember, b divided by 2 is the number beside. So try this out, and then we're going to do what we have. So this is called completing the square. I'm going to write it here, completing. Okay. So when we complete the square, the first thing we have to do is take our leading coefficient out of the first two, correct? Happens to be just a 1 in the first one, but that's okay. So we're going to get y equals 1, square bracket, round bracket, and then take it out of my first two terms, which does nothing. So I get x squared plus 4x plus blank. Now to get that blank, I always have to take the b that's beside it. So in this case it's going to change, but it's always the number beside the blank, because I'm trying to figure out what number I can make this be a perfect trinomial square, this number back here, the c, so that I can make the same thing. So I have to use the number in the middle to figure out what this number is. So I'm going to go 4 divided by 2, and I told you not to skip steps because it makes it easier for you to factor. 4 divided by 2 squared is 2 squared, which is 4. So I'm going to add a 4. Then I'm going to subtract a 4, square bracket, and then I add my 3 at the back. Then my next step is I write a 1, and then I go, what multiplies to give me 4 and adds to give me 4? Well, if I look one back, it's x plus 2, x plus 2. So that's why I told you not to skip that step. X plus 2, x plus 2. And then I told you also to multiply these to get rid of the square bracket. So 1 times negative 4 is negative 4 plus 3. And then I'm going to get y equals 1. I don't really need to write the 1. I'm writing the 1 to prove a point. And then I get x plus 2 squared minus 1. And then I can answer anything about vertex, domain, range, all that other stuff. Number 2 does have a number in front. However, it's still the same steps as this one because we treated the 1 as if it actually did something. So what do? We take the 2 out of the first two. So we get 2 square bracket, round bracket, x squared, because 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared, negative 4x divided by 2 is negative 2x, and then we add a blank. Now to find out what that blank is, we need to use the b beside it. So it's the negative 2 that we're using. We're not using the negative 4, we're using the negative 2. Everyone paying attention? We're using the negative 2, not the negative 4. So we're going to go negative 2 divided by 2 squared, which is negative 1, squared, which is 1. And I'm not skipping any steps. I'm going to add a 1, but then I have to subtract a 1 with the square bracket. And then I put this plus 1 at the back. Then I'm going to go y equals 2. And then what multiplies to me 1 adds to me negative 2. If I look back, it's negative 1. So it's going to be x minus 1 times x minus 1. It's perfect trinomial square, so two factors are the same. And then I can't forget to multiply these. That's how the square bracket goes away. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 plus 1. So I'm going to get y equals 2 x minus 1 squared minus 1. Okay. Instead of moving on to work problems, I'm going to give you a few questions to work on. So, then we'll do work problems starting right at the beginning of class tomorrow. So I'm going to give you some practice questions. So, let's do one from each little thing. So we go page 198. Number 1, AB. Number 5, that's equations of a graph. And then number 14. So number 14 says, write each function in vertex form and verify your answer. How can you verify your answer? Calculator. This is not a lot. If you actually worked hard, you should be able to finish this before you leave today. And then maybe finish your completing squared homework that I'm suspicious that no one did on Friday. Not everyone, but a few did not do it. Nah. Okay, page 198.